My boyfriend was a soccer fan, so I took him to the World Cup. While we waited in 98-degree heat, I left to buy him an iced Coke. But when I came back, he was gone. My VIP ticket had been used, and another woman had taken my seat. It was supposed to be one of those perfect days couples remember forever. Zach had been talking about the match for weeks, counting down the days, replaying highlights, reading lineups, and acting like seeing the game in person would be the greatest moment of his life. I was not nearly as obsessed with soccer as he was, but I loved him. So I bought us VIP front row tickets, cleared my schedule, drove us to the stadium, and tried to share his excitement. The heat that day was brutal. The temperature had climbed to 98 degrees, and the asphalt outside the stadium seemed to shimmer under the sun. Thousands of fans were packed together in long, restless lines, waving banners, wiping sweat from their faces, and shouting team chants while security checked tickets at the gates. Zach was sweating through his shirt and complaining about how thirsty he was. So when I noticed a drink stand nearby, I told him to stay in line while I went to buy him an iced Coke. I bought 2 bottles because I thought we could both use something cold before going in. But when I came back, Zach was gone. At first, I thought I had simply lost him in the crowd. I stood on my toes, scanning the line, trying to spot his familiar shoulders or the backpack he had been carrying. Then I checked my phone. My digital ticket had already been scanned. For a second, I just stared at the screen, unable to understand what I was seeing. I called him immediately. The call connected, and before he could even say hello, I asked, "Zach, did you go in? Why does my ticket show that it has already been used?" His answer came casually, almost lazily, as if he had done nothing strange at all. "Oh, I ran into Maya," he said. "You know, the intern from my department. She didn't get a ticket, and she was crying outside, so I gave her yours." For a moment, I could not even breathe. "Are you insane?" I asked. "That was my ticket. That was the VIP front row ticket I bought." Zach gave an annoyed little laugh. "Oh, come on, Lily. You're not even into soccer. You were just going to sit there and play on your phone anyway. Maya is a real fan. Have you ever heard of doing a good deed?" I looked down at the 2 icy bottles of Coke in my hands. Condensation was running down the plastic and dripping onto my shoes. Around me, people were still pushing forward, laughing, cheering, and moving through the gates. My boyfriend had gone inside without me. "You left me outside alone," I said, my voice tight. "For an intern?" "You can watch the live stream," he replied. "Just find a patch of grass and sit there until the match is over. Don't be so selfish." Then he hung up. I stood there with the phone pressed to my ear, listening to the deadline, too stunned to move. My first instinct was to call my brother, Liam. Liam was a soccer star, and he was playing in that match. He was the reason those VIP tickets had even mattered so much to Zach. I called him, hoping he could help me before the game started. "Hello?" Liam answered, his voice rushed and distant. "Lily, I'm about to go on for the match. The signal backstage is terrible. After the game, I'll take you to the celebration party," I tried to explain. "Liam, my ticket was..." Before I could finish, I heard a coach shouting in the background, urging the players onto the field. The call ended almost immediately. I stood frozen outside the stadium, still holding the 2 bottles of Coke. The sun beat down on my head with merciless heat. The asphalt radiated warmth through the soles of my shoes, and the air felt so thick that every breath seemed to scrape my throat. A security guard came over, waved a hand at me, and said impatiently, "Ma'am, if you don't have a valid ticket, don't block the ticket checking lane. Go wait in the plaza over there." I wanted to argue, but what could I say? My boyfriend had scanned my ticket and given my seat away, so I stepped out of the line and walked to the edge of the plaza, where there was no shade at all. Sweat slid down my forehead and stung my eyes. I blinked hard, trying not to cry from anger, heat, and humiliation. I took out my phone again, intending to ask Zach exactly how long he expected me to wait outside like a dog. The moment I opened Instagram, the first post on my feed was from Zach. It was a picture of the soccer field taken from a VIP front row angle. The grass was bright and perfect. The crowd looked electric. And on the right side of the photo, a girl's slender wrist was visible. On that wrist was my Cartier bracelet. The Cartier bracelet I had spent $20,000 on for Zach the month before. His caption read, "Watching the match with someone who truly gets it. This is what the World Cup is all about." My hands began to shake. I called him again. It rang for a long time before he finally picked up. Deafening cheers roared in the background, probably because someone had scored. "What now?" Zach snapped. "Are you ever going to stop?" I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. "What is that post? You gave my ticket to someone else and now you let her wear my bracelet?" Zach scoffed. "Lily, why are you so materialistic? Maya didn't wear any accessories today. I thought the bracelet matched her outfit, so I let her borrow it. What's wrong with that? You can't even tell Cristiano from Neymar, and you think you understand soccer? I took a slow breath, trying to stop my voice from trembling. I don't understand soccer the way you do, but I understand basic manners. That was my ticket. What gave you the right to make that decision without my permission? Do you know how hot it is out here? You are making me stand outside for hours. His tone became even more self-righteous. I already told you. Maya is an intern. Her monthly salary is only $3,000. She can't even afford official merchandise. You carry bags worth tens of thousands, so what is wrong with letting her have one ticket? You always act superior at the office, and now you're nitpicking over one seat. Are you just jealous because Maya understands soccer better than you? I could hardly believe what I was hearing. He was being generous with someone else's belongings, and somehow he still made himself sound noble. Then a soft, delicate female voice came through the phone. Zach, is Lily mad? Maya asked. Why don't I go outside instead? I really want to watch Liam play, but I don't want to affect your relationship. Her voice sounded so wronged, so pitiful, that if I had not been the person abandoned outside in 98-degree heat, I might have thought she was the victim. Zach immediately lowered his voice to comfort her. Don't mind her. She's just being dramatic. Stay right here. No one is kicking you out today. Then he turned back to me, and his voice sharpened again. Lily, I'm warning you. Don't embarrass me by acting crazy out there. It wasn't easy for Maya to come here. If you dare come in and cause a scene today, we're done. I tightened my grip around the Coke bottle until my knuckles turned white. Fine, I said. I won't go in. Zach, take your things and get out here right now. He laughed coldly. Come out? This is Liam's home game, and you want me to come out? Is something wrong with your brain? Even if you got on your knees and begged me right now, I wouldn't go out. It felt as if a huge stone had lodged in my chest. Breathing became difficult. Zach, I said slowly, if you don't come out, then don't contact me again after this. For 2 seconds there was silence. Then Zach laughed. Fine, Lily. Don't threaten me with a breakup. If you dare leave today, don't come begging me to get back together later. Maya, let's move closer to the front. Ignore this crazy woman. Before I could answer, he hung up again. I stood under the blazing sun, watching crowds of strangers move around me, and suddenly the entire situation felt absurd. Zach and I had been together for 3 years. I had always told myself he was just a little impatient, a little short-tempered, a little too proud. I never imagined that in front of another woman, he could belittle me until I sounded like nothing. The same security guard came over again and tapped the railing beside me with his baton. Hey, I'm talking to you. Don't stand here and block the way. I took 2 steps back. Then my vision went black. The world tilted violently around me. I heard people nearby cry out in alarm, and the 2 bottles of Coke slipped from my hands. When I opened my eyes again, the first thing I smelled was disinfectant. A nurse was beside me, taking my blood pressure. I was lying on a canvas cot inside a medical tent. My throat was dry, my stomach was twisting, and my whole body felt weak and heavy. You're awake, the nurse said. You had mild heat stroke. A kind passerby brought you to the medical tent. She removed the blood pressure cuff and gave me a concerned look. I propped myself up with difficulty. Thank you. How long have I been here? She checked her watch. Almost an hour. You should contact a friend or family member to pick you up. It's too hot outside. I patted my pocket and found my phone. For one irrational second, I hoped to see missed calls from Zach. I hoped some tiny part of him had noticed I was gone and worried. There were no missed calls. There was only one text message from him, sent 10 minutes earlier. Go buy Maya an official canvas tote. She didn't get one, and you're just hanging around outside anyway. I stared at the line of text. Then I laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was the kind of laugh that comes out when anger has reached such an extreme that your body no longer knows what to do with it. I had passed out from heat stroke outside the stadium, and not only had Zach failed to ask where I was, he was now ordering me to buy merchandise for his sweet little friend. I called him on FaceTime. The phone rang until the final few seconds before he finally picked up. His first words were, not, "Are you okay?" Or "Where are you?" he said. "Did you get the bag? Don't buy the wrong color. Maya likes the black one." My voice was cold. "Zach, I have heat stroke. I'm in the medical tent right now." There was a brief pause. Then his impatient voice came through. "Lily, why are you pretending to be fragile? Are you deliberately trying to get attention because you saw Maya having fun inside?" I closed my eyes and forced down the urge to throw my phone. "I'm not pretending. I'm dizzy. I'm nauseous. I can't even stand steadily." Zach clicked his tongue. "Enough. Stop putting on this pathetic act." Maya's ankle got stepped on, and it's swollen. I need to find an ice pack for her now. Since you're in the medical tent, grab an ice pack and bring it to the ticket gate. For a second, I honestly wondered if something was wrong with my hearing. "You want someone who just passed out from heat stroke?" I said slowly. To bring an ice pack to you and your mistress? Zach exploded. Watch your mouth. What mistress? Maya is an innocent girl. We are pure friends. Why is your mind so filthy? When your own heart is dirty, everything you see looks dirty. Right on cue, Maya's tearful voice floated from beside him. Zach, don't scold Lily. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have twisted my ankle. I'll walk out right now, even if it hurts. I don't want to cause Lily any trouble. Zach's voice instantly softened with obvious heartache. Why would you walk when your foot is swollen like that? The one who should leave is a cold-blooded animal like her, with no sympathy. I did not want to hear another second of their disgusting performance, so I hung up. By the time I came out of the medical tent, the sky was gradually darkening. From inside the stadium came a wave of deafening cheers, probably because Liam had scored again. The match was ending, and the crowd began surging like a tide toward the exits. Dragging my weak body forward, I walked step by step to the exit near the VIP-only passage. I needed my car keys. I had driven Zach to the stadium, and the keys were in his backpack. After a while, I saw him. Zach came out carrying Maya on his back. Maya was still holding an official black canvas tote, obviously the one Zach had bought for her after demanding that I buy it first. She lay against his back with a happy smile, her arms looped loosely around his neck. The two of them were pressed so close together that anyone would have assumed they were a couple. Zach, this bag is so pretty, Maya said sweetly. Thank you for buying it for me. Why are you being polite with me? Zach replied in an indulgent tone. I took a deep breath, walked forward, and blocked their path. The moment Zach saw me, the smile vanished from his face. His brows pulled together in irritation. Maya's foot hurts so badly she can't walk right now, he said before I could speak. I need to call a cab and take her back downtown. I don't have time to argue with you here. I gave a cold laugh. You're taking her home? What about me? My car keys are still in your bag. Do you expect me to fly back? Zach froze for a brief moment, as if only then remembering that I existed beyond being someone he could order around. He rummaged irritably through his pocket, pulled out my car keys, and threw them at me. Just drive yourself back. What's the big deal? After the heat stroke, my hands and feet were still weak. I did not catch the keys. They arced through the air and landed somewhere in the deep grass beside the road. I looked at him calmly. I have heat stroke. I can't drive, Zach scoffed, his face full of disbelief. Keep acting. You sounded strong enough when you were asking for money just now. Maya, let's go. Ignore this crazy woman. He walked to the curb and stopped an unlicensed black car parked nearby. Then he carefully helped Maya into the back seat as if she were made of glass. Maya leaned her head out of the car window and winked at me. Lily, if you really can't drive, I can lend you my bus card. The black car sped away, spraying exhaust all over me. The sky had gone completely dark. I stood alone beside the road, weak, dizzy, and humiliated. I searched through the grass for my keys with shaking hands, but I could not find them. Just then, two drunk men staggered toward me. They were shirtless, reeking of alcohol, and looking me up and down without restraint. One of them grinned. Chick, all alone? No ride home? I'll give you one. My heart tightened. I immediately took 2 steps back and forced myself to stay calm. No thanks, my friend is coming soon. The man with tattoos on his arms reached out and grabbed me. Why are you pretending to be innocent? Anyone wandering around this late is out looking for fun. Come on, have a couple of drinks with us. I yanked my arm free and ran toward the brighter streetlights. As I ran, I called Zach with trembling fingers. A cold, automated voice answered. Sorry, the number you have dialed is powered off. That merciless message shattered the last illusion I had left. I hid in the narrow gap between 2 buses, trembling so badly that my teeth nearly chattered. The footsteps of the drunk men came closer and closer. Where did she run off to? One of them muttered. That girl is pretty fast. At the peak of despair, I clamped one hand over my mouth, not daring to make a single sound. Then, a black Alfred van slowly drove over. The glaring headlights cut through the darkness and shone directly onto the faces of those men. The vehicle stopped steadily beside the bus. The sliding door opened with a heavy whoosh. A tall man wearing a baseball cap and a black mask stepped out. Without saying a word, he grabbed the tattooed man by the collar and flung him away like he weighed nothing. Get lost. The thugs were about to curse back, but several burly bodyguards in black stepped out of the van behind him. The drunk men sobered up halfway from fear and scrambled away. The tall man turned toward me and took off his mask. Under the car lights, I saw the same face that tens of thousands of people had just been cheering for inside the stadium. It was my biological brother, Liam. Lily, he said, his voice tight with shock. How did you end up like this? When he saw my pale face, trembling body, and scraped knee, a raging fury ignited in his eyes. I threw myself into my brother's arms, and all the tears I had held back throughout the day finally broke free. I told him everything. The ticket, Maya, the bracelet, the heat stroke, the ice pack, the car keys, the unlicensed car, the drunk men. Every humiliation Zach had forced me to swallow. After we got into the van, one of Liam's bodyguards handed me a warm towel and a bottle of warm water. The air conditioning brushed over my overheated skin, and for the first time all day, I felt safe enough to breathe. Then Liam's phone vibrated. He opened it, glanced at the screen, and let out a cold laugh. This idiot actually dares to DM me. He tossed the phone into my lap. On the screen was a private message Zach had sent to Liam's official social media account. Liam, I've been your fan for 10 years. Congratulations to your team on winning the championship. Today, I brought the girl I love most to watch your match from the VIP front row. She even twisted her ankle for you. I hope we can get your blessing. I stared at the message. The girl he loves most, I whispered. A humorless laugh escaped my dry lips. And to think, just last month he was telling me he couldn't wait to marry me. Liam's face became a mask of cold fury. He was still wearing his sweat-soaked jersey, and his championship medal hung around his neck, bright under the dim dome lights of the van. He had just played a grueling match, scored the winning goal, and helped his team win the championship. Instead of celebrating, he was sitting beside me, holding my shaking hand. I'm going to ruin him, Lily, Liam said, his voice dangerously quiet. I don't care about my public image. I'll post his message, tag him, and show the world what a pathetic piece of trash he is. No, I said. My voice had suddenly become steady. I wiped the last tears from my face and looked at the glowing screen in my lap. That's too quick, Liam. A public call-out would shock him, but he would find a way to play the victim. He would say you were abusing your power as a celebrity. He would tell everyone you were bullying an ordinary fan. I want him to climb as high as possible first. I want him to feel like he has finally touched the sky, and then I want to pull the ladder out from under him. Liam studied me for a moment. Then a slow, grim smile spread across his face. The team celebration party is next Friday at the Hyatt Club, he said. Strictly invite only. The media will be there, along with major sponsors, club executives, and high society. Perfect, I said. My mind was spinning with a cold, clean clarity. Reply to him. What do you want me to say? Liam asked, pulling up the manager portal for his official account. Tell him you're deeply touched by his loyalty. I said, tell him that because of his dedication, and because his girlfriend hurt her ankle cheering for you, you want to personally invite them to the exclusive championship party at the Hyatt Club. Tell him you'll prepare a signed jersey and give them your personal blessing on stage. Liam gave a short chuckle, though there was no warmth in it. He typed the response quickly. Done, he said. Let's see how long it takes him to take the bait. It took exactly 3 seconds. My phone, which had been completely dead to Zach's concern while I was suffocating outside the stadium, buzzed in my hand. It was not a call from him asking if I was alive. It was an Instagram notification. Zach had screenshotted Liam's reply and posted it to his story. The caption read, "When you're a real fan, the universe notices. Thank you, brother. At Liam, official, for the personal invite to the Hyatt Club. Maya and I will see you there. Real fans only. Blessed. True love." I stared at the screen as the absurdity washed over me. He had not checked whether I made it home. He had not asked how my heat stroke was. He had left me in the dark, used my $20,000 Cartier bracelet to decorate his mistress, and was now parading his so-called true love with my brother's fame. I lifted my head and spoke to the driver. Drive us home, Mark. I have a lot of paperwork to do before Monday. Monday morning arrived with crisp, oppressive humidity. I pulled up to the office tower of Vance Enterprises in my spare car, a sleek, matte black Porsche Panamera. Normally, I kept a low profile. I parked in the regular employee lot and drove an ordinary sedan because I did not want attention. At work, I was known simply as Lily Chen, but that morning, I parked directly in the executive VIP section. I had taken my mother's maiden name when I entered the corporate world. My family owned Vance Enterprises, a massive multinational conglomerate. My father had always insisted that both Liam and I start from the bottom so we could learn the ropes in our own fields. Liam had gone into sports. I had quietly entered the marketing department of our own subsidiary. Zach was a project manager in that same department. He had always assumed I was just a middle-class girl who had lucked into a decent job. He often complained that I acted superior, mostly because I refused to let him control my finances, and because I sometimes wore designer items my mother had bought for me. When I walked through the glass doors of the marketing department, the office was unusually loud. A crowd of interns and junior associates had gathered around Maya's desk. Maya was sitting there with her foot propped on a plush stool, holding a designer Starbucks cup and basking in everyone's attention. "Oh my gosh, Maya, one intern gasped. Is that really a Cartier love bracelet? It's the white gold one with pavé diamonds, another whispered. That's easily 20 grand. Maya smiled with fake modesty and twirled her wrist under the fluorescent lights, letting the diamonds catch every possible angle. It was a gift, she said softly. Someone special insisted I wear it. He said, a delicate wrist like mine shouldn't go bare. Someone special. My bracelet, my money, my stolen property. And the World Cup VIP ticket? Another colleague asked. Is it true you met Liam? Maya squealed and blushed. Zach took me. Liam was so sweet. He actually messaged Zach directly and invited us to the private championship party at the Hyatt Club this Friday. We're going to be on stage with him. I stood at the edge of the crowd with my arms crossed, silently watching the performance. Zach was leaning against a pillar nearby, with a smug, self-satisfied grin on his face. When he noticed me standing there, his smile faltered for half a second. Then it twisted into a cold, condescending sneer. He walked over and lowered his voice so the others would not hear. So you finally decided to show up, he said. I thought you were going to play the victim and take a sick day. Let me guess. You're here to beg me to take you to the party on Friday? I looked at him with no expression. Where are my car keys, Zach? He rolled his eyes. Are you seriously still whining about that? I threw them to you. If you were too weak to catch them, that's your problem. Go find them in the grass. Or better yet, take the bus. Maya offered you her bus card, didn't she? And the bracelet? I asked, nodding toward Maya's wrist. Zach's face hardened. I told you. Maya's outfit needed an accessory. She's an intern, Lily. She doesn't have the luxury of buying expensive things just to show off like you do. Why are you so materialistic? It's just a bracelet. Let her borrow it for a few days. That bracelet cost $20,000, I said. I bought it with my own money. I did not give Maya permission to wear it, and she is currently parading it around the office as a gift. So what? Zach hissed, stepping closer as if he could intimidate me. What are you going to do about it? Cry to the manager? You're just a project manager, Lily. Don't make a scene and embarrass yourself. If you dare cause trouble for Maya, I'll make sure everyone in this office knows how crazy and jealous you are. I did not answer. Instead, I took out my phone, unlocked it, and dialed a 3-digit number. Zach's brow furrowed. What are you doing? Calling the police, I said. He laughed harshly. The police? Are you insane? Over a bracelet? Over a $20,000 piece of jewelry that was taken from my possession without my consent? I replied as the line connected. Then I spoke clearly into the phone. Yes. Hello. I would like to report a grand larceny at Vance Enterprises, 14th floor, marketing department. The suspect is currently wearing the stolen item. The laughter died on Zach's face. Lily, hang up the phone, he yelled, reaching for my arm. Before his fingers could touch me, I stepped back. My eyes flashed with a cold warning. If you touch me, Zach, I'll add assault to the police report. The commotion finally drew the attention of the entire office. Maya looked up from her desk, and for the first time that morning, real panic entered her eyes. She stood up quickly, limping just enough to maintain her injured act. Lily, what's going on? Maya asked, her voice trembling with simulated innocence. Are you mad at me? If it's about the bracelet, I can take it off. Don't take it off, Maya, I said, loud enough for the whole department to hear. Keep it on. The police will need to document the stolen property on your person for the arrest warrant. Stolen? A collective gasp rippled through the office. Zach's face turned dark red. Lily Chen, have you lost your mind? He roared. I gave her that bracelet. It's mine to give. Do you have the receipt, Zach? I asked. Because I do. I have the digital receipt from the Cartier boutique on 5th Avenue, linked directly to my personal bank account and my ID. I also have the CCTV footage from the boutique showing me purchasing it. Do you want to explain to the police how a man making $80,000 a year bought a $20,000 diamond bracelet on a random Tuesday, while his bank statements are drowning in credit card debt? Zach choked on his words. His face shifted from anger to absolute terror because he knew I was right. He had never been able to afford anything close to that value. Within 10 minutes, 2 uniformed police officers walked through the glass doors of the department. The entire office went dead silent. Who called about a grand larceny? The older officer asked. I did, I said, stepping forward. I handed him my phone, which displayed the digital receipt and my ID. My name is Lily Chen. This is the proof of purchase for a white gold Cartier love bracelet with pavé diamonds, serial number CR553201. The suspect, Maya Lin, is currently wearing it. The officers walked over to Maya, who had gone pale as a sheet. Ma'am, please step forward, the officer said. Officer, please, Zach pleaded, trying to block them. This is a misunderstanding. I'm her supervisor. I lent it to her. We're in a relationship. Well, Lily and I were. Sir, step back, the officer ordered. He looked at Maya's wrist, checked the serial number engraved inside the gold band, and nodded to his partner. The serial numbers match. Ma'am, do you have any proof of ownership for this jewelry? I... Maya burst into tears. Her face twisted with humiliation. Zach gave it to me. He told me it was his. I didn't know it was stolen. Please don't arrest me. If you didn't know, you can explain that at the station, the officer said, pulling out a pair of handcuffs. Please come with us. Lily, please, Maya wailed, looking at me with tear-filled eyes. I'll give it back. I'm sorry. Don't do this to me. My internship will be ruined. My career will be ruined. I looked at her without moving. You didn't care about my health when you left me in 98-degree heat. You didn't care about my relationship when you wore my bracelet and bragged about it. Why should I care about your career? The police led Maya out of the office in handcuffs while she sobbed. The entire department stared at Zach and me in stunned silence. Zach turned to me, his eyes wild with hatred and desperation. You bitch, he whispered, his voice shaking. You completely ruined her. She's just an innocent girl. Are you happy now? Is your petty jealousy satisfied? This isn't jealousy, Zach, I said softly. This is just the beginning of the invoice. We are done, Lily, he screamed, completely losing his composure in front of our colleagues. Do you hear me? Don't ever try to contact me again. On Friday, I'm going to the Hyatt Club. I'm going to stand on stage with Liam, the champion of the world, while you sit in your pathetic little apartment rotting alone. You're nothing to me. I gave him a small, polite smile. I'll see you on Friday, Zach. The rest of the week passed in a blur of frantic preparation. Zach spent his days desperately trying to secure bail for Maya and hire a cheap lawyer. He had to drain his savings to get her out of custody pending trial, leaving himself nearly broke. Yet even after that, he refused to cancel his plans for Friday night. To Zach, the Hyatt Club party was his golden ticket. He truly believed that if he could charm Liam, he might land a sponsorship deal or a high-paying sports marketing role and leave his boring corporate life behind. He even rented an expensive designer tuxedo on credit, determined to look like someone who belonged among sponsors and celebrities. Friday night arrived. The Hyatt Club sat on the top floors of a towering skyscraper, overlooking the glittering city skyline. The entrance was surrounded by velvet ropes, flashing cameras, and an army of security guards in sharp black suits. Liam's PR team had placed Zach and Maya on a special VIP guest of honor list, so they were guided past the brutal security lines and escorted straight into the ballroom. I arrived shortly after them with Liam. I wore a custom-made emerald green silk gown designed by a renowned French couturier, paired with a diamond necklace from our family's private collection. My hair was swept into an elegant updo, and my makeup was flawless. There was no trace left of the exhausted, heat-stricken woman who had been abandoned outside the stadium a week earlier. In the private holding room, I watched Zach and Maya through a one-way glass window, overlooking the main ballroom. Maya was wearing a cheap, flashy pink dress, probably bought from a fast fashion website. Her ankle was wrapped in a bright white bandage, as if she wanted every person in the room to notice her injury. She clung to Zach's arm and looked around with wide, greedy eyes. Zach held a glass of champagne, his chest puffed out as he tried to strike up conversations with wealthy sponsors. Most of them gave him polite smiles and quickly turned away. Liam placed a comforting hand on my shoulder. Are you ready? He asked. More than ready, I said, taking a deep breath. Let's give them the blessing they asked for. Liam nodded to his manager, who signaled the event coordinator. A moment later, the booming voice of the MC echoed through the ballroom's sound system. Ladies and gentlemen, sponsors, and esteemed guests, please welcome the man of the hour, the World Cup Golden Boot winner, and our championship hero, Liam. The ballroom erupted into applause and cheers. Media cameras flashed as Liam walked onto the elevated stage with a microphone in his hand. I stood in the shadows at the edge of the stage, out of immediate sight, but close enough to see everything. Liam raised his hands and smiled warmly as the applause gradually died down. Thank you, everyone, he said. This championship wasn't just won on the field. It was won through the dedication of our incredible fans. And tonight, I want to call up a very special fan, someone who went viral this week for his unmatched loyalty. In the crowd, Zach's eyes lit up. He tapped Maya's shoulder hard, his face flushing with manic joy. I received a very moving message, Liam continued, his voice smooth and controlled, from a fan who claimed he brought the girl he loved most to the VIP front row, and that she even injured herself cheering for me. Liam smiled politely. Zachary Miller, please come up to the stage. The spotlight swung across the darkened ballroom and landed directly on Zach and Maya. The crowd parted, offering polite claps. Zach looked like he had just won the lottery. He practically marched up the stage steps, dragging a limping Maya behind him. He reached out to shake Liam's hand, his voice cracking with excitement. Liam, it's an absolute honor. Zach gushed into the microphone Liam held out. An absolute honor. This is Maya. She's my soulmate, my true love. We sacrificed so much for this game. Sacrificed indeed, Liam said, his smile turning dangerously sharp. You sacrificed a lot of things, didn't you, Zachary? Zach's smile faltered. I'm sorry. I was very touched by your story, Liam said, turning toward the crowd. But as a professional athlete, I believe in fair play. I also believe in giving credit where credit is due. So before I give you my blessing, I want to introduce the person who actually bought and paid for those VIP front row tickets. The person who actually made it possible for you to be here tonight. Liam turned toward the shadows. Lily, come on out. I stepped out of the darkness and into the bright glare of the spotlights. The silk of my emerald gown shimmered under the stage lights. The diamonds around my neck caught the camera flashes and cast sharp reflections across the ballroom. I walked slowly and deliberately, wearing a calm smile. Zach's eyes nearly bulged out of his head. He froze, his mouth hanging open. Maya let out a choked gasp and lifted one hand to her mouth. Lily? Zach stammered, his voice carrying over the microphone. What? How did you get in here? Security? This woman is a stalker. She snuck in. The ballroom fell completely silent. The tension in the air became thick enough to cut. She didn't sneak in, Zachary, Liam said. His polite tone vanished, replaced by a commanding chill. She is the guest of honor, and she is my biological sister. The revelation hit the room like a physical blow. A wave of murmurs swept through the crowd of sponsors, executives, and media. Many of them knew the Vance family, and their eyes sharpened as they looked from me to the sweating, pale man on stage. Sister, Zach whispered. His knees were visibly shaking. No, that's impossible. Her name is Lily Chen. She's just a project manager at the subsidiary. Lily Vance Chen, I corrected, taking a second microphone from a stage assistant. I took my mother's maiden name so I could work at the office without being treated differently. But my father is the majority shareholder of Vance Enterprises, the company that funds your salary, Zach. All the color drained from his face. He looked as if he might faint. Maya looked like she wanted the floor to open up and swallow her. She tried to step back, and in her panic, her injured ankle suddenly seemed perfectly fine. You wanted my blessing, Zach, Liam said, stepping closer to him. My brother's towering athletic frame completely eclipsed Zach's trembling body in his rented tuxedo. So let me give it to you. I bless you with the consequences of your own actions. Then Liam turned toward the media cameras. This man, Zachary Miller, took my sister's VIP ticket while she was buying him a drink in 98-degree heat. He scanned her ticket, left her outside to suffer from heat stroke, and gave the seat to his mistress, Maya Lin. He then took my sister's $20,000 Cartier bracelet and put it on Maya's wrist, leaving my sister to collapse outside the stadium. Gasps of horror and disgust echoed through the prestigious crowd. The cameras began flashing rapidly, capturing every second of Zach and Maya's public humiliation. No! Zach shouted, looking around desperately. That's not how it happened. It was a mistake. Lily, honey, please, tell them, I love you. I was just trying to do a good deed for an intern. I was confused. Then he dropped to his knees on the stage and reached for the hem of my gown. Please, Lily, don't do this to me. I'll do anything. I'll beg. I'll get on my knees and beg you. I stepped back and looked down at him with cold pity. I believe you told me last week, Zach, that even if I got on my knees and begged you, you wouldn't come out. Well, the sentiment is mutual. Except I don't even want you in this room. I turned toward the head of security near the stage. Mr. Harrison, please escort these two out. They are trespassing on private property. 4 burly security guards immediately marched onto the stage. They grabbed Zach by both arms and hauled him up from his knees. Zach began screaming and thrashing so violently that the seams of his rented tuxedo started to tear. Lily, you can't do this, he yelled, his voice cracking with desperate tears. We were together for 3 years. You're a monster. You ruined my life. You ruined your own life, Zach, I said quietly into the microphone. I just stopped paying for it. Maya was dragged out beside him, her fake limp completely forgotten as she struggled against the guards. Her cheap pink dress caught on a stage nail and ripped, exposing her to the flashing cameras of the paparazzi waiting near the entrance. The heavy doors of the Hyatt Club slammed shut behind them. For a heartbeat, the ballroom was silent. Then, applause erupted. It was not polite applause. It was a genuine roar. A wave of cheers for justice finally delivered. Liam wrapped his arm around my shoulders and pulled me close. You did good, sis, he said. I smiled and accepted a glass of champagne from a passing waiter. The sparkling liquid was sweet, cold, and entirely free of the bitter taste of betrayal. The heat of the sun was long gone, and for the first time in a very long time, I could finally breathe.